Video number 3 for the Cruel King and the Great Hero on the PlayStation 4. We're probably not going to spend much more time with this. But what I will do is review some of these acts of kindness, or the side quests. By speaking to this character, for instance, we're able to unlock a side quest, which is called an act of kindness here. So again, this is very much a beginner's RPG. For people who might not be familiar with all the complexities of a turn-based RPG, your Dragon Quest fans, your old school Final Fantasy 1 through... your old school Final Fantasy 1, 4, and 6 fans, Paper Mario fans, it's in that realm. Paper Mario on the PlayStation 4, basically. So here's your side quests right here. Not the ongoing story, but the ongoing acts of kindness. Selecting a quest from your left will display the next destination on the map. Press the triangle button to set up a destination. The upper right window will show you where to go if you get lost. So again, this is introducing people to the concepts of these turn-based Japanese RPGs here. Now, if you're like me and you've been playing like 1,000 hours of Skyrim, this is basic menu management. But this is a game for people who might not be as comfortable navigating a world like Skyrim. So I can't set this. Well, I actually have to unlock these new acts of kindness. Okay, so I can set this as a collect dry wood, and it's in Hillside Mountain. Okay, so we'll set that up later. There are a couple of other side quests I can unlock. See these little red... Can I zoom in? These little red word balloons. Bottom right-hand corner of the screen, the legend says it's an act of kindness. So these are the side quests that we can hoard and complete them later. So for the purpose of this video, I'll just take a look at what some of these side quests are. And then probably never play this game ever again. Again, my backlog is way too deep to be playing a bunch of games like this, which are like introductions to turn-based Japanese RPGs, you know what I mean? Wildcat, huh? Well, this is a Ram, isn't it? One of the LA Rams, huh? Playing a very terrible game against the New Orleans Saints right now. Out of all the games Fox could be showing right now against the Ravens, against the Ravens-Eagles game, they decided to show this. I guess it was a doubleheader. It wasn't even a doubleheader. They weren't even showing a game at 1 o'clock because the Washington game was on. It was a terrible game against Tennessee. Well, you got to see Washington whoop up on Tennessee, so that was good, I guess. But if you wanted to see a more competitive game, Fox was not showing anything. They were showing reruns of The Floor and TMZ, the weekly edition of TMZ. So it's one of those. It's late. Remember, this is the Sunday after Thanksgiving. So there were at least 3 games that aired on Thanksgiving. There was a game that was airing on Friday. I don't even know who was playing. I don't even know who won. Apparently it was a bad game anyway, but like 2 terrible teams were playing on Friday. So 4 games are wiped off the schedule right off the bat. So the leftovers on Sunday are basically this Ravens-Eagles game, which is actually supposed to be very good. I'll be watching. I got a DVR going in the other room, so I'll watch that later. But then I'll be able to watch the end of those games when I'm done playing this. Normally, when I'm watching an actual football game, I'll be playing a new game to kind of like kick the tires to see how I feel about it. So I got another act of kindness. It's in the scrapbook here. Press the triangle button to go to the scrapbook, and we got find Wildcat in. So I can set that objective. Let's hoard one more of these side quests. Well, she's out there. So, well, she's on the way to the what do you call it? Yeah, she's on the way to the mountain, the Crystal Hill, I think it's called, the one with all the snow, the one that I visited at the end of the last video, video number 2. Wow, 23 yards passing for Matt Stafford. How you like that? They're not out of the playoffs because they're in a terrible division, and the leader just lost today. So I think the Cardinals were at the The Cardinals and the Seahawks were at the top of the division. Actually, the Seahawks won, the Cardinals lost. So that division's still up for grabs. Someone run to the table, they wind up going to the playoffs. What a terrible division they got going on over there. It's as bad as it's worse than the NFC. It's almost as bad as the NFC South was supposed to be. But again, why talk about the video game when I can talk about what's going on in the real world? Like, in video number 2, I was talking about software development. Which is probably the geekiest conversation I've ever had about software design. Oh, these magic crumbs are free. They're in my inventory. That's how I got here at the end of the last video. It automatically teleports you back to town for free. It's free fast travel. It's the only kind of fast travel. It's a return to town item. Which, yeah, if your video game doesn't have fast travel between waypoints, that could be something you can add to your game to make it easier, to limit backtracking. The kind of 21st century innovation the kind of quality of life improvement you want to see in a 21st century game. Can't go this way yet. Yeah, he's not gonna let me go that way. More gated content. There is another act of kindness right here. So ideally, if you're bored doing the main story quest, you can do these side quests instead. In a game like Skyrim, that means you're basically ignoring the main quests and only doing side quests, like I usually do. There's a slim chance I'll be playing Skyrim again this Christmas. It depends on whether I get my hands on a 4K capture device. There are 4K capture devices that I have found in the wild for like $60, $70. Don't really need to get one if I'm being brutally honest, but it's a nice to have for some of the older games that I have lying around. So like playing Skyrim in 4K sounds like it might be fun, but that's the problem, is that because it's in 4K, I can't use my regular quad-core laptop to capture that footage. So I would probably need to pull out my my slower quad-core. So I would need to pull out one of my faster quad-core laptops to get that footage, which is fine. I have a couple of laptops that are fast enough to capture footage in 4K, I tend to believe. We'll see how it goes. Because I can't imagine ever pulling out a desktop and capturing that footage. Because remember, I'm using the Windows 10 camera app to do this capturing. Although, to be fair, 4K 60 is probably not worth it. I'm probably better off capturing footage at 1080 at 1440p 60 for YouTube. 1080p 60 is fine for me. And I have a couple of video games that I did capture at 1080p 60. And I did put those up on this channel. So, Skyrim, Agents of Mayhem, that stuff is definitely... Arkham City, that stuff is in 10K 60. Excuse me, at 1080p 60. This game will be at 720p. I can capture at 60, but why bother? What kind of game do you think this is? I captured the 7 Deadly Sins at 60 because I wanted you to see how bad the frame rate dropped below 60 FPS. It's good to get 60, but it doesn't hold 60. So, I mean, what are you going to do? Exceptionally hot. What's the Japanese word for hot? I'm not paying attention to any of the story, just so you know. I'm not paying attention to anything they're saying. Yeah, the plan is to sell this game. Sell this game. Sell probably Rune Factory, but yeah, sell this game. Sell 7 Deadly Sins. Sell one of the other games I have lying around in this collection, and then use the money to buy No Man's Sky and a couple of other games. Probably a Super Nintendo game. What game did I get my hands on recently? I was supposed to sell Shanghai 2 Dragon's Eye, actually. Which I do have. I mean, it's Shanghai. If you want to play Shanghai, you can. But I got that game pretty cheap, so I'm not complaining about the fact that I got a hold of it. But I think there was like a Game Boy game I was probably supposed to sell too. I got Super Mario Land 2 on the Game Boy pretty cheap, so I was supposed to play that eventually on the Super Nintendo. I want to say there's like one more Genesis game I was trying to get my hands on. Okay, so let's see what my other options are here. I want to see where the next waypoint is for the act of kindness. Buy rock chocolate. Can we buy it from the Rock Lobster, maybe? So it's over here well, here, probably. Oh, there's Petra. Rock chocolate! No, we are not ready to rock chocolate. So, that's what I mean. Again, even if I got a 4K 60 capture device, actually, I think it only captures 4K 30. Which is fine. I mean, again, for some videos, 4K 30 would be fine. Because I have a 4K TV in the other room, but when I was playing video games on it, I was capturing at 1080p 60. So I'm playing stuff like Skyrim in 4K. Ages of Mayhem in like 1440p, I think. Yeah, Ages of Mayhem was 1440p, upscaled to 4K, but I mean, that's perfectly fine for me. A game like Ages of Mayhem doesn't need to be in 4K. It looks perfectly fine in 1440p, I would argue. Kings of Amalur, I'm trying to get in 4K. That should run easily in 4K. It runs pretty well on my laptop. And I mean, Kings of Amalur came out on the PlayStation 3, okay? It's gonna run in 4K on my laptop. No, it's gonna run in 4K on that desktop I got in the other room with the GeForce 3050. But as I've said multiple times in those videos, it's a GeForce 3050, but it's a 6 gigabyte variant, so it's basically a GeForce 3040 in terms of performance, compared to the regular 8 gigabyte card. Again, me getting very geeky during a game like this, but the point was to... Are we done? So I have to find it now. Zoom out. So it's in the mountain. So it's over... Where? Wait, where's the hillside mountain? Let me check on something. So we have to go to the hillside mountain, which I believe is my house. Just a second. There we go. So we can clear that out, and then we can go up north, okay? This would be a quick and easy mission. So we'll clear out these side quests. We need to buy more. Yeah, we can buy plenty of power fruit. Because this is how we're going to heal ourselves. We should be getting... They cost 8 shells. That's our currency. So we should be getting 8 shells every fight. We only have 2 of these? So we're going to buy a bunch of these and then buy some more later. But we can grind for gold. And what's this? Reduces ice damage. So we need more money for that. A brand new pot, which is probably armor. I'll buy one of these for later. This is a Phoenix down. Am I selling anything? Increases defense, but that's a temporary item, right? Like for a boss or something. Yeah, don't want that. So let's clear out. Let's do this really quick and dirty quest. We got an autosave going, so that's good. In fact, where did I save? So we're fine there. So we have our ground zero save here twice, huh? So we'll overwrite that because we don't care. We'll make it work. I don't need to play Shadow of Mordor in 4K, honestly. It might be fun just to see it, but Shadow of Mordor to me is a game that you just play at 60 frames a second. You just kind of go with it. I don't really need to play that game with a higher resolution. It's not that kind of game to me. I mean, sure, like Skyrim in 4K would be fine. Darksiders 2 in 4K should be pretty good. Off the top of my head, like I said, other than Skyrim, what game do I have to have in 4K? Like even Arkham Knight isn't a game that I really need in 4K because I can only hold 60 frames a second, if I have 1440p, strangely enough. For some reason, I can't lock 4K when I play Arkham City, which is weird. But again, 1440p for Arkham City is perfectly fine. Yeah, Saints Row 4, again, it's not a game where I don't need to play Saints Row 4 in 4K. I can, I just don't need to. I'd rather play in 1440p and then just lock it down to 60 frames a second, and I'm fine with that. It looks good enough as is. So other than Skyrim, I don't know if that many games I want to play in. Again, Amalur's going to look good anyway. But other than Amalur and Skyrim, what do I want to play in 4K, really? Because remember, these are PlayStation 3 games that I'm playing in 4K on this laptop. Did you say knavery? Did I complete the side quest? Aw, she called you a jerk. Jerk. So we're going to Madame Goldie. So what's the next place I can go to here? We're just doing bonus content, I guess, for this video. Scrapbook. Don't know where the rock chocolate is. We're going down. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank, dude. Like, what PlayStation 3 games do I own on PC that I would want in 4K? Like, other than Skyrim and Amalur. Yeah, I'm surprised I can't think of that many. There are probably at least 4 other games I would choose. Because I don't own I do own Grease on PC. I don't need to see that in 4K. Same with, I don't own Cuphead, but these aren't games that I need in 4K. I already spoke to her. We don't have it. We're going south. Yeah, I already bought that crap. So where's Goldie? What's her name?
小狐さん、小狐さん、何か困りごと？小狐を見つけた優は力になるよ。
Okay, let's save where I was because I had to cut that part of the video because I'd already heard that story before. But I do want the music later. So what I'll do is I'll do a quick save. That's the Ground Zero save. So this will be our breadcrumb save. So I want to come back later and get that music. The music in this game is actually pretty good so far. Again, not something I want to keep playing to hear, so I'll see if there are other ways I can listen to the music. But yeah, the music that I've heard so far is pretty good. So I like to keep my ears to the ground for new music. I'm a member of a Facebook group that's about kind of exposing us to music we haven't heard before. So, like, your boy hooks up the group with some Sakuraba bias because, duh. But yeah, Sakuraba bias, Sakamoto bias, you know, 12 sound goes to 11. Yeah, what's the word? Hashtag Sakuraba bias, hashtag Sakamoto bias, hashtags 12 sound goes to 11. Hashtag Red Book bias, hashtag Falcom rock. That's your boy. Yeah, that's how I do. So we got another act of kindness. So we completed that quest. We got 90 shells. Fantastic. And a star. I have no idea what that is. So we're going to amulet and chill. What are we doing with this? Protects you from being chilled. Sounds amazing. So we want more power. We can do that. So we can give the power ring to the other dude. Give the power ring to Rocky. Hey Rocky, why should you pull a rabbit out of my hat? Nothing up my sleeve. That's why you're here, kids. Bullwinkle references. So we're good with that, right? Find rock chocolate, and that is... Okay, so that faded objective marker made completing that quest easier. Let me unlock. So that's the hillside mountain. Oh, so in the hillside mountain, that's where the rock chocolate is. Huh. So I want to say I have been here before. Okay. So where am I now? We're gonna go south. So we completed that. What's the star that I got, by the way? Is it under my... No, I don't know. Yeah, there's a star that I got. I got 99 shells, and what else? Special skills. No skills. No skills to pay the bills. So now I'm an idiot. What does that star mean? Is it just like some kind of like... L2 and R... No, it's L1 and R1. Okay, in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, that legend is incorrect. It's not L2 and R2 to change objectives. It's L1 and R1 to change objectives. So I'm pressing R1 right now to page up, pressing L1 now to page down. So that's just stupid. What am I doing for Christmas? Yeah, probably some 4K videos, probably some Warframe. I'm checking on Warframe and Gems of War every year. Definitely some more Super Nintendo games. I don't know what my favorite games of the year are. I only know, like, Sonic Frontier. In fact, that might be the thing. I bought Sonic Frontiers last week. It was on sale for, like, 15 bucks. So, I mean, they're getting... Sonic Frontiers is on clearance at some places for, like, about $25 at, like, Best Buy and Target. The Switch version is probably not the one you want to own. I'm morbidly curious about it, but I'll probably just end up renting it. But the Xbox One version is fine. It runs about as well as the PlayStation 4 version does. Just at a lower resolution, a slightly lower resolution, I want to say. Which is normal for the Xbox One. But that's what I'm talking about. You buy the Xbox One version, it runs and it looks and runs even better on the Series X if you eventually get your hands on that. Worth noting... So I have to... What's my act of kindness? The shells are down there, but it doesn't... Again, I had a star for completing that act of kindness. Is there a way for me to track the number of stars I have for acts of kindness? Yeah, it's not listed here. So it's like I got that star, I just don't know what for. And where's the... Yeah, where is this found? So the dry wood is here inside here as well. Okay, so I can do both in the same area. Okay, so we'll clear that out. That'll be fine. Let's see. Just some more bonus footage. That is a peddler. So we're going south. Which I can't go south. Oops, all belongings. More gated content, huh? So serves me right for trying to explore. And there's a gate. The gatekeeper won't let me go to the left, so I can't go west. There's something over there I need as well. So where does that take me? The objective is there. Did I not save the game after I went to the snow forest? Probably not. Yeah, I didn't save the game before going to the snow forest. Okay, we already know what I did to get what I needed to get when I was there in the previous video. So again, I'm probably not going to replay much of this game anyway. I could have swore I made it there before, and I unfogged most of that crap. But again, I mean, that area is revealed the main problem I have with this game, is that the combat's way too simplistic, and the enemies... the random encounter rate is reasonable, but there's not much strategy in the combat. Like I said, this game is an introduction to Japanese RPGs. It's nothing special. Which is shit. It's sad. Everyone's got to start somewhere. Your boy started with Dragon Warrior. I don't know, this is less grindy than Dragon Warrior, but it's also less sophisticated, probably. So which is closer? Here, the side quests, I would argue. So where's Hillside Mountain? There, right? So we gotta go right. First of all, am I... Yeah, to the right. So we're going east, I suppose. Yeah, Sonic Frontiers, I think, is the biggest surprise I've played so far this year. So I'm not going to call it the best game I played this year, but it's the game where... It's the game that I think if I were to make a best of the year list, that would prove it. That would be the game that's like, okay, like, if your game is better than Sonic Frontiers, then you're a contender. Because I play a lot of good games most years. Like, yeah, Atomic Runner on the Genesis is probably the best game I played so far this year. It's if I'm making a list, if I'm making a list of my favorite Genesis games, that's going to be in the top 10, and then I'm going to go up from there. So I'm going to play Phantasy Star 4 probably later this year. I'll see how it goes. Because that's supposed to be the one really good Phantasy Star game. That was a traditional turn-based game. Depending on the speed of my internet, my data cap, I'll probably sample Phantasy Star Online. I mean, why not? It would be kind of cool to see if there's another free-to-play game that's worth playing. Like I said, I've managed to find like 5 decent free-to-play games. Like on this channel, I would say, yeah, Gems of War is still the best of them. Warframe's a lot of fun if you're willing to deal with the grind. We're going to Hillside Mountain. So where are we headed? Can we go... Wow. It's going to be a bit of a hike. We're going to go east and then go north. See how we do. I don't think we're going to get attacked. He said portentously. We might not get attacked. Yeah, there's a cave here. This is where I sleep, I want to say. Yeah. Obstacle here, I probably won't be able to pass. And there should be some fights here. Yep, there's some fights. But what was it? Super Mario Odyssey was on sale for $30. Which it should have been years ago, honestly. That game was a launch title for the Nintendo Switch. That game's 7 freaking years old. Nintendo gonna Nintendo. Now, good luck finding that game for less than $30. So it probably wound up being like a Christmas present someone probably got for their kids. I'll see what I can do, because I don't think GameStop is willing to part with their copies for less than $50. You can escape anytime you want. If you fail to escape, you don't lose anything. So apparently in this game, escaping is consequence free. If you fail to escape, the turn continues normally. Again, that's a good quality of life improvement, sure. But yes, I don't know if I'm gonna like. I honestly don't know if I'm gonna like Odyssey that much. But I think for $30, I can sell it for $15, $16, and it might be okay. So it's a $15 rental, I suppose. So I'm playing the game now, but and that's complete in box. So that's like the cover and everything else. So that might be the least expensive way to play that game now that I think about it. Because I mean, every used copy I've seen costs at least $30, because yeah, people know the market. Don't get it twisted. Nope, can't go that way. More gated content. So we can keep going east here, see if there's anything over here. By the way, I rented a Persona 5 Royal on the Switch last week, just to kind of see how bad the grind is, and I realized I have like 3 or 4 hours of videos on this channel where I recorded the PlayStation 3 version, I think it was. I think it was the PlayStation 4 version. It was the PlayStation 3 version that I rented from the library. And there's like a video I made called a Meowvelous and Beautiful Girl, I think it's called. And that's the one video I have that has the most combat in it, because most of the game is just a visual novel, and then there are some dungeons you can explore. But, wait, back out. There are some dungeons you can explore early on, sure. But the big problem with Persona 5 is, it takes like 4 or 5 hours to really get going. Like, you're basically on rails for the first 4 or 5 hours of the game. And I can confirm, after having played the first 2.5 hours twice on 2 different consoles, it's kind of bad. I'm not going to say it's a bad game, but that's going to be problematic for a lot of people. Because it means you have to, like, again, on the Switch, it's probably fine. It's like, because, it's like, you're waiting at the bus stop, you're waiting at the restaurant, you're waiting at the Popeyes, you're waiting for your fried chicken. You can play, like, 10 minutes of Persona, play a little bit on the train, play a little bit on the bus, follow the story, play a little bit after work, and then eventually the game opens up. I bought the PlayStation 4 version maybe 5 years ago because it was on sale for like $10 at GameStop. What's really bizarre about that game is that the PlayStation 3 version is way more expensive than the PlayStation 4 version, even though the PlayStation 4 version runs better, obviously. But I think the whole deal with that, there's nothing here. Is there anything here I can pick up, or is it just a dead end? There might have been some kind of quest. No, this is the first time I've unfogged this part of the map. It's just a dead end. Why would I come here? We're being attacked by vegetables. Carrot-wielding vegetables. Carrot-wielding... What are they carrot-wielding mandragoras? What are they called? Mandragoras? Mandagordas? The living plants. I forget what they're called. And I don't mean the Pokemon. We'll listen to these guys later. So let's wield our special skill. So we have 4 magic points. We're going to use all 4 magic points to activate the skill. Worth noting, we gain 1 magic point per turn, I want to say. So the dragon does help. He doesn't attack the enemies. He sets my wooden sword on fire, which makes it stronger, but doesn't burn the sword. No complaints, I guess. Let's see. Skill, no. Survey. There we go. So we'll survey him and see what he does. Should we release him? We could try releasing him. Releasing doesn't seem to ever work, by the way. Release. Toxic Toad. I want to say that I want to say that exploiting an enemy's weakness increases your chances of getting a treasure chest, like the one you see down there. So we're going to take a few dumb hits. I just want to see how many shells I get for beating him. Skill, release. Let's see what happens. See, release never seems to work. What's the point of letting him go free if they don't take me up on my offer? It's like trying to persuade slimes in Dragon Quest. See, I got 8 shells for that. So that's enough for me to, those 8 shells that I just earned are enough for me to buy another power fruit, which I just earned by exploiting an enemy's weakness. So I can heal myself with that fruit that I just got, and the money that I earned from that fight is enough for me to buy another potion. So that's the economy of this game. You earn enough money from a fight to buy the healing items you need for future fights, and I'm fine with that. So that was a dead end. Amazing. So I'm not allowed to go here, huh? Nope. Gated content. Amazing. The Rams came all the way back in the second half of this game. And they scored another touchdown. Let's see. Use the flame slash on the heavy dude. I think he's the strongest dude. We'll find out. Hassan Chop! Dead. Okay. So it's too bad Rocky here doesn't have any skills. I don't think he learned any when he leveled up either. If nothing else, I'm earning a bunch of money that I can use to buy more potions, which I'll need for the excursion to the snow-capped mountain, the Crystal Hill, whatever it's called. The Crystal Cypress Hill. So we're going west and north probably. I do like the auto breadcrumb saves this game makes. So again, quality of life features. Very useful, very handy. And remember, there is an item that allows me to prevent enemies from attacking for at least 50 steps. So I guess the idea is I can make, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. So basically, I guess no enemies will attack me if I go to the next screen. We're going north. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah. So maybe enemies will attack me every 20 steps or something. I don't know. Let's survey this dude. If nothing else, we can just use this side quest as an excuse to survey enemies. To what end? I guess we're able to learn their weaknesses. Like, I think if you go to the bestiary, you're able to learn what their abilities are if you observe them closely. We don't need a flame sword yet. We'll save that for the next fight. Got 3 shells for that. Kind of lame. Okay, where is it? The Pokedex. Rabbit Rouser. That's a rabbit wielding a carrot. Stamina, attack. Is stamina the number of hit points it has? I believe so. Speed and money. The shells it drops. We don't know what it drops. I guess we have to wait till it actually drops. The Raccoon Tribe. The Coney Tribe. The Coney Island Tribe, I guess. The Froag Tribe. Frog. Toxic Toad. Meowth. Or Meows. Wasn't there a Nipponichi game about a mouse, actually? Yeah, it was, what was it? The one about the dead lab rat. The rhythm platformer about the resuscitated lab rat. I forgot what it was called. I played it on Mad Rat Dad, I believe it was called. A true Nipponichi game, yes. A game about... Yet another Nipponichi game about an existential crisis. As serving as the dramatic tension for a Nipponichi story. Disgaea does a bit of that. Zettai Hero Project definitely does that. And for people who want to know, Zettai Hero Project is included along with Makai Kingdom in the Nipponichi Switch collection. I believe it's Volume 2 or Volume 3. I don't have my Switch here, but I noted the name of the game because that's actually a game I do want to buy. Zettai Hero Project, I remember being a pretty good game on the PlayStation Portable. Makai Kingdom I used to own. I need to see if I can get my hands on that game, actually. It's one, like I said, there are a bunch of Nipponichi collections available on the Switch now. Again, a perfect example of what the Switch is for. Because you can buy the Steam versions of Disgaea, for example. But there are some games like Rhapsody aren't good. I think Rhapsody and La Purcell Tactics. I want to say Rhapsody was a PS1 game that I used to own. It's a JRPG musical. Which is to say, top-down view, sprites gesticulating, and there's actual musical numbers in Japanese and in English. Is it a good game? No, but it's a musical, so it has a bit more charm than you might expect. As a turn-based Japanese RPG, it is not good. Not that of items. As a turn-based Japanese RPG, it is not good. But it has a bit more charm than most RPGs of the era did. Would I buy it on the Switch? No. La Purcell Tactics I've never played. I've been told it's like a mediocre turn-based strategy RPG. But yeah, Makai Kingdom is supposed to be good for people who like Phantom Brave and Disgaea. I want to say Makai Kingdom is kind of like Phantom Brave, which is a game I need to play on this channel. In fact, I think I sampled it on this channel along with Makai Kingdom. So I'll prepare those videos during Christmas because I want more JRPG content. I put up a 1-hour video of Phantasy Star 3. Not a good game, but I put that up over Thanksgiving 2024. We'll whack this dude. See if we can kill him in one shot. Ooh, he's fast. So he's able to attack me before I can get a shot off. Hassan Shop. One shot. Okay, so these guys go down in one hit. They're just fast. So there's a problem. And we leveled up. And we get off our we replenish our health and we level up. That's always good. Equipment. So where do we find out how quickly we level up? Yeah, how do we know when we level up? Yeah, there's nothing here that tells me when we level up. Yeah, there's no status menu option here. I mean, we can see the attributes. That's not the issue. How do I know when I level up is the question. Cute fangs. As opposed to the other kind of fangs, I guess. Yeah, dude, there's no status bar that says when I level up. That sucks. Why would they hide that? Yeah, how am I supposed to know when I level up? That's stupid. Like, what would that be under? Okay, so I got that star fragment by completing that act of kindness. So that explains something. Okay, so those are the star fragments I collected from completing that act of kindness. Okay, now we got a game now. The Saints came back after a boring first half. For both teams. Yep. As you collect, you can unlock more drawings. You can view a drawing and toggle the English text by pressing triangle. Okay. Okay, but I still don't know how to like, when do I level up? It's weird that would not be available here in a game for young RPG novices. It's weird to leave something like that out of a game like this. So let's see what else is over here. It might just be a dead end. I already got these treasure chests. Hey, dude. So I can't go that way. More gated content. Woo! Gonna need another potion. So these guys will go down in one hit. So let's survey them. And then attack them so we can kill them in one shot. I don't have any seeds. Yeah, like, yeah, if I were making an RPG, if I were making it for, like, younger gamers, I would need, like, a 2-track system. Like, I would need, like, a beginner's mode where the game just, where it's like, okay, there would be 2 versions of the game. There would be, like, the beginner's track and, like, the hardcore track, basically. Like, you would have the hand-holdy mode that where, like, the game tells you where to go. The game has a guide with you to help make the fights easier. And you can't die, but if you lose a fight, you basically have to start over from the beginning. Yeah, like you don't, like, when you lose a fight, you don't die, but the death penalty is you don't gain any experience and you don't gain any items. So that would be beginner mode, where you don't lose progress. You can heal yourself. But the idea is if you die, the penalty is you just don't get any experience, you don't get any loot, and you basically loot, and your HP goes back to what it was before the fight. So the easy mode would be letting people slop through the game with a guide who helps you survive the fights. but ultimately there is a penalty for losing in that you don't get loot. And I accept that. That's a perfectly reasonable penalty for a game. That's for a game that's for younger viewers. But of course, the regular game would have the guide, but would have like the guide to help you along, but there would be penalties. Nothing like groundbreaking where you're like, okay, you die in a fight and you have to go all the way back to town. No, I wouldn't do that. But a hardcore mode would be like, yeah, like you cannot die during a fight. You can heal automatically between fights, but you cannot die during a fight. Otherwise, you basically get no experience and you're right back to where you were before the fight started. But the idea is that the fights would be set pieces. They wouldn't be blind random encounters like in this game. Again, the kind of thing you wouldn't want in a game that's for novice RPG fans. If you're going to do that kind of crap, I would make the enemies visible and avoidable, like most of Chrono Trigger. That's another touchdown. That was a 2-point conversion, okay. That's all that was. So yeah, and the other thing is that in hardcore mode, you wouldn't have the guide at all. But the enemies wouldn't be that much tougher, but the idea is you wouldn't have the extra help. So the idea is the guide wouldn't be there to tell you where to go. You would have to figure it out on your own. There would be areas of the game that would normally be sealed off, like do not enter, here be dragons. Like on the lower difficulty levels, the game would tell you, here be dragons, don't mess around. Am I supposed to get the dry wood? We can get it from there, I guess. We're on our way. This is a really long side quest. So, are we nearby? I would say not really, but we'll see what happens when we find the rock chocolate. But yeah, the idea is that I would rather the combat in my games be set piece based with enemies you can avoid. Like an enemy can still jump you. I'm fine. Like Paper Mario does stuff like that, where enemies will like sneak up on you. I'm fine with that. But I'm not a fan of blind random encounters. Like again, I grew up playing games like that. That's what this game does. And I'm like, no, don't do that. So these enemies just whittle you down before you can even attack. I don't even know if you can escape. You can find out. Yeah, I'm flashing, so I need to heal myself, so give me a second. And if you survive, if one of your party members survives, then survives the fight, then when the fight is done, their HP will be back to 1. Just so you know. So they don't stay dead. If one of your party members survives the fight, it's not game over, but their HP is down to 1, so you have to heal them, and that makes sense, obviously. I would love to know when she levels up, though. That would be amazing, but the game won't tell me. I don't even know how many experience points I have. Isn't that great? There's something here. Might be another act of kindness I can complete. We'll find out in a second. Hassan Chop. See if we can wipe him out in one hit. Probably don't even need to do this. Let's see what happens. Massive. And of course, if we exploited a weakness, we get that treasure chest. There's the dry wood. So we need 2 more. So it is here. Rock chocolate is over there. So if we want the dry wood, we might have to hang out here. And get some more from some of the enemies that are nearby. So you can see what the blind encounter rate is, because I think it's like every 15 or 20 steps. Got another treasure chest. So it doesn't matter. So I guess the enemies will just always drop them, I guess. Or there's a pretty high chance they'll drop them. That works for me, I suppose. I like how you can moonwalk before you turn around. That's kind of cute. You can slide backwards before you make the full turn when you change directions. But anyway, it's a minor touch. So yeah, and these are... So I got it. So there's your wood. And of course we can teleport back to town when we're done. When we're done with all these side quests. Which is the reason you do all these side quests. Because if you can get them all done in one trip, you're good. How's our health? We're good. And I bought enough healing items that won't be a problem. I'm gonna have to slice these guys. Can't do it yet. Do it on the next round. And I think I already surveyed these guys. I want to say the Froag tribe. So we should be good. But yeah, like I said, the Romancing Saga, the remaster of Romancing Saga 2 that I played on the PlayStation 4 on this channel, if it's not up, it will be. That's a game where you get healed after every fight. It seems like a good version of those old school 1990s Super Famicom RPGs, but the problem is that game, what is it? Well, among other problems, I think the main problem is that the combat seems fine, but again, it feels more sophisticated than this. The Emerald Saga game that I played, the demo of the Saga game, Saga Beyond, I think it's called, Emerald Saga Beyond, whatever it's called. The PlayStation 4 port that I played had a pretty interesting combat system. You know, very, very complicated, very complex, or it seemed complex. But the Nintendo Switch port seemed a lot more basic. So the demo for the Switch version is different than the demo for the PlayStation 4 version. But it does seem like a very good game if I can find it at a good price. Seems like a pretty good game. If I could find it for less than $20, I would get it. That Romantic Saga 2 game seems interesting, but you had a choice between 2 different players, but the game is exactly the same no matter who you choose. So the demo is the exact same content no matter which player you choose. I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, I can ask the subreddit, because the subreddit knows this kind of stuff, but it's these super niche subreddits are always interesting, because it's like, hey, how's the PlayStation Portable version different from I'm on the Valkyrie Profile subreddit. How is the PlayStation Portable version of the game different from the PlayStation Original? Because I played both. And apparently, I'm supposed to buy that. I'm supposed to buy the PlayStation 4 port of Valkyrie Profile, because I believe it's based on the PlayStation Portable version. I'm trying to check, and I can't check. Oh, check here. Okay, I did it. So we're good. So we can go to the obstacle here and see what's doing. We'll unlock this area. We'll unlock this area. It'll be good. We're automatically saving as we go, so we should be fine. So I have been to the Mountain Den before. Wait. Actually, I'm pretty sure I saved my game here at the Mountain Den. Isn't this where I slept? Yeah, I want to say that's where I slept. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I went there, spoke to the dragon, and he took me back to town. So I had to come here earlier. So I remember that part. But I'm pretty sure I can go through this obstacle. Got a treasure chest up there. So if I can't escape, I'll just do the fight, because you remember you don't lose anything. Well, waste of time. So we can head back home now, right? Yeah, because the dragon's not over there, I don't think. So this place is sealed off, so I have to come back here later. There's a bunch of, like, gated content here I can't get past. So, you know how we, remember how we, cut down our backtracking? We use this. The magic crumbs. So yeah, the kind of, again, I would keep fast travel in my game if I didn't, but the idea that fast travel would be at designated points. What's that game? Astria Ascending, I think. Yeah, Astria Ascending was a game I played on this channel. That had fast travel at designated points. So it encouraged exploration because you can fast travel back to a place you went. Arguably, you should only do that if it means you want enemies to respawn, or, like, if you want a penalty attached to that, I guess you could attach a penalty to that. My argument is that, like in games like Skyrim, you fast travel if you want to visit a place without getting interrupted constantly. But if you want to play the game normally, you can. People just get really pretentious about the importance of being forced to walk everywhere for immersive qualities. Like, if you're gonna punish, like, in other words, the punishment for fast traveling in Skyrim is you miss out on dynamic events that could lead to loot that you could get. Like, there could be certain items you can't find because they're located between fast travel points. That should be your incentive to not use fast travel. But any other time, I'm perfectly fine with fast travel. So yeah, you're missing out on opportunities to gain experience if you fast travel. So yeah, that should be the incentive. Okay, this Rams game actually got pretty good. So we'll see how it goes. The second half got pretty interesting. You just had to cut some of the fat from the first half. Yeah, these are two teams that won't make the playoffs most likely. But yeah, the Rams still got a shot. The Niners and the Rams still got a shot to make it. They just have to kind of run the table a bit. So we good? I already gave you the... Oh, I was supposed to go to what's-her-name and get the rock chocolate. Okay. I already got the rock chocolate. Did I miss something? Report to Hoof. She's located near the... Okay, so we have to go back that way. We'll go back the way we came. Do I have to go back to... Do I have to go back to the shopkeeper? Do I have to go back to... Yeah, go back to Petra and give her the crap. I have to talk to her about the whatchamacallits. We got plenty of money during that excursion. Want to sell anything? Nope, can't sell any of this. But I do have to talk to her. Nope, nothing. So what do I have to do about the rock chocolate then? Am I an idiot? I mean, I found the rock chocolate. What do they want me to do? I just found it. There you go. So we did it. So I guess we talked to the wrong person. Idiot. So we're done. Munch, munch, munch. Nom, nom, nom. First of all, rock chocolate tastes kind of nasty. What are you going to do? Now, dark chocolate, however... Well, anyway. Well, it's probably... These days, dark chocolate has too much lead and cadmium, apparently. Because, again, nominally an educational channel. Consumer Reports was doing some studies. And unfortunately, most of the cocoa powder they got. Most of that the healthy form of chocolate. Like, I've seen, like, if you get, like, cocoa powder has a lot of fiber in it. There's no sugar in it, so it tastes like dirt. But cocoa powder is just, a bean. Like a lima bean or a garbanzo bean. It's a legume. And it has a lot of fiber in it. And there's some nutrients in it, and there's a bit of protein in it. But most Americans just take cocoa powder, they add 5 tons of sugar to it, and it becomes candy. But regular cocoa powder is supposed to be healthy because it's basically a bean. And beans are high in fiber. But the cocoa powder situation is that apparently in the United States, most of the cocoa powder in our part of the world has a lot of lead and cadmium in it. I think it's a problem with the soil that it's grown in. So what they determined is that it's possible that I got a defense ring, which actually you does need it. So what should I get rid of? No speed. Who needs speed? I would argue she probably needs speed instead, but whatever. So I guess we'll give speed to him. Arguably, the speed you need is to escape, right? We'll see what difference it makes. So we're done with the act of kindness. Yep, so we'll save our game after that. But yeah, you have to look at it. Consumer Reports did the testing, and they said, most of the cocoa powder they tested, including the organic stuff, did have unusually high levels of lead and cadmium, which is a toxic metal. You don't want it. You don't really want it. So the argument is that if you're eating like candy, there's very little cocoa powder in candy. So obviously cocoa powder in candy has its own problems because it's so much sugar and fat in there that's basically it's its own kind of poison. Sugar is its own kind of poison, obviously. But cocoa powder is supposedly healthier than regular milk chocolate and white chocolate and dark chocolate because the darker your chocolate is, the more cocoa powder it is. The darker your chocolate is, the healthier it is because the less sugar is included. The more sugar you add to cocoa powder, the more candy-like it becomes, and the less healthy it becomes. And that makes perfect sense. If you can eat fruit and it's fine, but if you start pouring a bunch of sugar into your fruit, it becomes candy, and at that point it's not healthy anymore because any health benefits you get from eating the fruit go away because you've buried it in 5 pounds of sugar. It's like a cherry is probably perfectly fine, but you start putting it in cherry pie with like 5 tons of sugar, and it's basically a candy, and at that point it's a dessert, and it's not healthy anymore. So there are no more health benefits to eating a candy bar. But if you're eating regular dark chocolate, or cocoa powder with no sugar in it, it's supposed to be healthy because there's no sugar in it. It's otherwise relatively healthy, but the lead and the cadmium in the cocoa powder is the problem. And I think it's supposed to be something wrong. I think it's like the way the soil has a lot of hard, heavy metals in it, and when it gets mixed up with the soil, it's hard to kind of keep it out of the ground powder, I guess, during the processing. So I think it depends on how it's harvested. And again, now that we know the science is still trying to figure this out, it's entirely possible that they'll find a safer way to harvest cocoa powder now, which is good. Because cocoa powder is potentially it's potentially a good source of, certain trace minerals and certain nutrients that you can't get in other ways. Again, no candy, no dark chocolate, just straight up cocoa powder. But if there's lead and cadmium in it, then that means those are toxic metals. You don't want a bunch of those in your system. So that's going to be a problem. So we'll end the video very shortly. Set objective, I can't do that yet. So there's an act of kindness over there. So we'll end the video by unlocking that act of kindness. I keep saying I'm not going to play this game ever again, but I just spent an hour talking about random crap. Just kind of keep my mind off the task at hand. So again, this is a nominally educational channel, so we talked about lead and cadmium and cocoa powder, and we talked about software development with programming languages for all you STEM fans out, all you STEM kids out there. Going to the Code Academy, you're learning how to make functions. Once you learn modular programming design, programming gets a lot easier if you can start making a functional program, then you expand on it, because extensible programming is a very good design principle. If you make a program that can do one or two things very well, then you can build on that. And some development is based on using these rational rows was used back in the early 2000s or late 90s. It was a way to convert objects. Basically, without getting too geeky about this, I mentioned that some languages are compiled. Well, there's an object-oriented design, and if you can create an object, like in a game like this, you're creating a new monster. So you're creating a new object. So you're adding this monster and all of its attributes to the video game. So you create a video game monster, you add it to your bestiary, you give it certain attributes, you give it how many hit points does it have? What skills does it have? So the idea is you're creating objects that can be added to a game, like DLC. You add more Pokemon to your Pokemon game. You add more fighters to your fighting game. You add more dancing in your Fortnite game. You're adding objects to a video game. You create a video game with the potential of adding more content to it later. You bolt on additional content later. And without getting, again, this isn't a commentary about, AAA games being bloatware now. You make a video game You make a video game as a framework for future content in case you have to fix it later. You can't make games that are bulletproof. You create a framework that, in other words, instead of building a wall, here's your political commentary, instead of building a bulletproof, foolproof fence around your code and then going back in and trying to fix it later, you create a solid, flexible framework for a program, and you can expand on it later. So yeah, you make Street Fighter 2 and it's a good game, but then you come back later, you're like, okay, let's make this character faster, let's make the jump low, let's adjust the jump height, let's add a special move it didn't have before. Let's make this move more useful. Let's make this move slower or faster. Let's nerf this special move so that it's not too overpowered. You want to make a program that can be fixed later if you find out that there are problems you didn't expect. So I guess it's defensive programming in a way. But the whole point is you want to be able to say, our video game is good enough to stand on its own, but it's also flexible enough that if we have to add something later or build on it later, we can. Most video games have software engines where it's like all the Assassin's Creed games, all of the Battlefield games, all of the, Zelda Breath of the Wild. They built they built a game and then they expanded on that game using the software they already developed. So instead of making a brand new game every 3 years, you make one good game and then you use that as the foundation for your sequel. Or you make it the foundation for another game, like Horizon Zero Dawn. They expanded on the engine they already developed. But then Hideo Kojima took that same engine from Horizon Zero Dawn to make Death Stranding, a completely different game, using the same software engine. A lot of video game developers right now use Unreal Engine 5, right? Or is it? I lost count. Unreal Engine 3, I think, was on the PlayStation 3. Unreal Engine 4 was on the PlayStation 4. And I think this is Unreal Engine 5. So, and people talk about the stutter struggle and all that nonsense. But yeah, the idea is that we have video games now that are built on existing engines, like Unity. I have RPG Maker over there. That is an engine that can be used to make actual RPGs if you want. And they don't have to be turn-based. They don't have to have a top-down view. It's just easier to use what they've given you and then build from that. So yeah, you can use, if you have a high level appreciation of what software development is and what game design is and what video games can be, then you can use RPG Maker to make other kinds of games that aren't role-playing games. And that's where the fun stuff comes in. You probably wouldn't want to make a football game with RPG Maker. But you could absolutely make like a top-down exploration. Like you can make a Skyrim in RPG Maker. You just have to adjust how the combat works. And you would have to how would you deal with, the clockwork design of a Skyrim? You just distill the concepts of Skyrim's game design into a traditional turn-based, top-down, exploration-based Japanese RPG. Where am I going? I'm supposed to be here. Yeah, go to the snow forest. Okay, so we'll end the video here. Let me see what else I can do. Well, I missed this. I'm supposed to go back to Hillside Mountain. Sorry. Hopefully the game is saving my progress. It's supposed to be making breadcrumb saves. So I got all distracted and discombobulated. But yeah, I've been thinking a lot about software design because every time I learn a new language, like when I learned Python and Ruby and what was the other one I learned recently? I mean, well, Ruby I sampled with earlier, but ultimately it's about that's the big thing about software design. You want to know just enough about software design to say, where am I going? Hillside Mountain. Was there another side quest that I missed? One moment. So where is the side quest? Well, maybe it's in another area entirely. Because they unlocked a new act of kindness. Yeah, this one, okay. So they want me to go back here, huh? Find fireproof material. It's pretty far away. Okay. So that was the treasure chest that yeah, that was a dead end earlier. That's why that dead end exists. Amazing. It's almost as if game design is multi-use. Every dead end serves a purpose in a video game, right, kids? Waste not, want not. So we'll end the video very shortly. So yeah, this was, look, I wasted a bunch of time talking about video games. So we were barely paying attention to this video game. So, do I like this game? Not enough to play it for like 20 hours. But yeah, it's an introduction to other video games, to other turn-based games, so that's fine, I guess. So, this is video number 3. And we'll turn on the title screen so you can listen. We'll let the music play us out. So I recorded this on my Turtle Beach headset plugged into the gamepad. I doubt I'm going to play more of this, but I wanted you to at least be able to get a feel for the side quests that are available in this game. This is not a good RPG, but it's a decent introduction, I guess, to novices who just want to chill and vibe Japanese RPG with some very good music. Definitely worth listening to. In fact, I'm going to record the music when I'm done with this video.